How does it feel to be back at the Dome? It feels nostalgic. I love Doncaster, and I think there was probably a time when I probably could have run for mayor. I might not have won, but I certainly would have got into the top 5, I think. So for me, it's my second home. It was my second home, Doncaster. I love the place. So I'm really happy to be back. So 2005, the first show for 1PW. My career when I entered 1PW was okay. I was known. My gimmick was getting across with a lot of people. I just started getting out there as the chav of Britain. And I think 1PW definitely helped me get to where I ended up in pro wrestling and helped me to where I am today. If it wasn't for 1PW, I certainly wouldn't have done half the stuff that I did or achieved in pro wrestling. The difference that 1PW made in my career is that it opened me up to the world, to show the world who I am, and gave me a lot more opportunities than I would have probably got before. The best memory I have of me and Colt tagging as Team Shag, I think was right behind me, right here in the Donny Dome, when me and Colt, we wrestled the Fallen Angel and AJ Styles, the phenomenal one. And we came out from the crowd, and it had a weird nostalgic moment walking into the building, and then we come through that bit there, and I remember this moment me and Colt had just as we're about to go and wrestle one of the biggest matches we've ever wrestled as a tag team, and we just looked at each other and we just done this kind of like potato spud thing, and we're like, let's do this, and we had our sunglasses on and our Elvis jumpsuits, and all the crowd was watching the entrance thinking we was going to come out the entrance, and suddenly they've just all turned around and there's me and Colt it felt like we were being body surfed to the ring. I don't know if that actually happened or it's just my nostalgic imagination, but I remember the crowd just going absolutely wild. And I think that was one of the best moments we had, you know, coming down here with 2,000 odd people cheering our names. That match I had with Doug was my that was probably, arguably, you could argue this, the most influenza match I had in 1PW, because I was fucking sick. I had the flu. I was fucking hanging in that match. I remember I was hanging. And can I swear? Yeah, I was fucking fucked. And I don't think I beat Doug, did I? Or I did beat Doug. I beat Doug. So that match I had with Doug Williams was probably the biggest match in my 1PW career, because it was the most important match, because for whatever reason the stars aligned, and I went through to the next round of the 1PW tournament. When I entered that building, no one knew who the fuck I was. By the time I left, everyone fucking was cheering my name, and that was an important milestone for me. And the simple fact is, if I'd have lost that match, I would have just been another nobody in the British wrestling circuit, gone and done whatever he did in his career. But that was the match that secured me in the 1PW fans, and it was the match that secured me in the 1PW management, where they had enough faith in me to not only did I beat Doug Williams, but to go into the next round and wrestle with Biss. And that was the match that super won me over with the fans, because of the promo I did before I wrestled, because I thought, you know, I'm going in there with a massive monster, he's just going to smash me up and pin me, so I'll go out there and I'll win the crowd with a promo, basically saying, you know, I'm here representing Britain, I'm here representing the 1PW fans.
Wouldn't it be good for one night, this one night only, that belt, we rewrite history, and that belt stay right here in 1PW Doncaster.
He beat the shit out of me in about 4 seconds, but I think I came out of that match the winner, because I remember standing to my feet and everyone was on their feet clapping, because that was the moment everyone realised I was the working class hero, which I am. You know, wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I think personally that's why a lot of the people here in Doncaster can associate themselves with me, because they see a little bit of themselves in me, which I fucking love. I'm so proud of that. I think that was the turning moment. Those two matches, that's why I became a fan favourite here in Doncaster. So yeah, those two matches. So the match we had with Southern Comfort, Tracy Smothers, rest in peace, sir, and Chris Hamrick. I remember it being a really fun match. If you watch that back on the DVD, night 1 or 2 on All or Nothing. No, sorry. Yep, All or Nothing, night 2. It'd been a really fun match, and I really learned about doing tag matches with Colt in that match, and Tracy and Chris. That really evolved my knowledge in doing that style of tag. I remember Chris went up to the top rope and he goes for the big splash, and I roll inwards towards Tracy, and then I do a massive shoulder roll over Chris and a big outreach stretch to Colt. Boom, Colt comes in, he's hitting his dusty elbows, boom, 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 boom. He's going on for the fire, and he's knocking everyone out. I learnt a lot in that match, and I remember it being really fun, and it's an honour to be in the ring with people like Chris and Tracy, because I grew up watching those guys in ECW. Lots of fun. And I think that was one of the matches, I think it was the first match me and Colt had as a tag, and the crowd could see the chemistry. And I remember Stephen and management and Steve Carino, they were talking about putting us together, and it was a test, because me and Colt, even though we were friends, we didn't know whether we had that chemistry when we went out there, and it was just boom, straight away we had it. We had lightning in a bottle. Team Shag went on and on and on and on. So what I remember of me and Colt, Team Shag versus Chris Daniels and AJ Styles, I was shitting my pants, to be honest. These are two of my idols in that. I mean, we grew up as kids. We grew up as students of wrestling, idolising AJ Styles, because he was the future of the strong style, the new era of wrestling. He was the leader of the pack. So we would get the Ring of Honor VHSs when we used to do it in basketball courts, and all these small little halls, and we was watching people like Bryan Danielson and AJ and Christopher Daniels and Low-Key doing their thing, and to actually get in the ring with these two guys and Colt, it was intimidating, it was scary. And I'd only been wrestling for 5 years, I think, and I know a lot of people after 5 years think they know it all. You know shit, you know nothing at 5 years in. And I remember I didn't want to fuck up. And I think one of my biggest regrets of my 1PW career is not enjoying it enough. Because so many times I'm out there as a guy thinking, fuck, I hope I don't fuck up. Like, there's 2,000 people here, and I'm in here with like Too Cold Scorpio and AJ Styles, and then there's me, these guys, watching all these guys as a kid, and now I'm in the ring with them. Even though you can't tell a lot of times, I'm shitting my pants. I would have loved to have gone back there, and I can this time around, because now that fear of being a new guy is gone. The fear of being a rookie isn't there. I'm going to go out there. I'm just going to take the energy off the crowd and really become the pucker one, the new pucker one, pucker 2 even. But yeah, it was an important match for me, because it was just wrestling my idols basically, and tagging with a legend that is Colt Cabana. And my brother was born that day, weirdly, as I remember it. That was fun. It's Jimmy Snuka, isn't it? Tagging with Jimmy Snuka. So I think we did a show down south, the AWA show, AWA UK. And England lost that day. It was really crap. I remember it being a crap day because we lost in the Euros. And I just had a match for the British Commonwealth title in AWA, and I sliced my back open on a table somehow. So I remember my back was hanging out. Imagine letterpost slit in my back. And then we just lost the football, and then Stephen rings up and he says someone dropped out of one of the shows or something like this. So there's Jimmy Snuka, minding his own business. 5 minutes later, he was on a coach to fucking Hull with us to do a booking. And yeah, we ended up doing a tag match together, and it was really cool. I remember none of the crowd, obviously it was a surprise appearance by Jimmy, and the crowd loved it, and I really loved the fact that I got to tag with one of my action figures that I owned. A little push his back down. He used to spring off the second. When he did the Superfly splash of the second, it was awesome. It was just, it's everything that I wanted to become. Every reason why I wanted to become a wrestler. You know, these are the guys that I idolised and I watched. You know, every day I've had in wrestling, I've been very honoured and privileged to just do one day. You know, and to come to here and you know, wrestle at this level in front of thousands of people. We've just seen your name on someone's T-shirt. I'm so humbled by it, you know. And I think in a lot of ways it gives you a new sense of confidence. Just seeing people believing in you, you know. And I remember we did that show. It was another show when I wrestled Andy Simmons, and we did the World Championship Pucker Shuffle contest. And everyone had the orange T-shirts on, and everyone had one of the Puck One T-shirts. You'd get in the ring and have a pucker shuffle. There was like 600 fucking people with Burridge T-shirts on in that arena. It felt like everyone was wearing an orange T-shirt. So yeah, I've got fond memories of that arena and fond memories of tagging with Jimmy. The thing with that T-shirt is that it was just. I remember like we had kids versions printed, and it was just kids just shut going, look at this. And they turn around, like 5-year-old, shut your slag on his back, like, and then running off. We're like, okay. I don't think you can do that now. So the three-way ladder match we had for the title, again, that was the day we won the tag titles. Awesome day. I wrestled Johnny so many times because he's my buddy. We used to wrestle around the country doing the camps. And I think that day we just finished a camp, wrestling on a camp down south, and then we drove straight up and we got in the ring and then we wrestled in a tag match with Tracy and Chris, and we all had dice on, I believe, and Jody had the biggest dice in the match because he has the biggest dice in real life, if you know what I mean.
Team Shag cutting off the current champions, and I think we're going to see double power bombs coming up momentarily.
Sit out power bombs. Team Shag is alone in the ring.
It's a prime opportunity to grab the belts and win the match.
It's going to happen, guys. They're up there. Burridge can't quite get the belt. They've done it. Yes, it's over.
We've got new 1PW World Tag Team Champions Kingdom.
Classic Colt Cabana and Darren Burns, the Puckle One. Team Shag is on top of the world.
I still have those dice actually.
Jody's ones.
Jody's ones, they're massive. like big England dice, and we all signed them. And we were doing small signatures. I still have them. If anyone can remember, the one thing I think a lot of people will associate with me as a wrestler is my series of matches that I had with Nigel McGuinness for 1PW. And that brings me immense pride because, again, I look back at them with fond memories, and it was one of those moments. It was that series of matches that evolved me as a wrestler and as a person, I guess, to the next level where I needed to get to, because you're only as good as the person you're in the ring with, and Nigel was miles better than me. So I learned, and Nigel was doing the style of wrestling that I wanted to master, that British world of sports style with a little bit of strong style in there. And Nigel was actually my first ever match at the Croydon Fairfield Halls back in 2002, 2001, where everyone just beat the shit out of me in there because I was the new boy. I got absolutely slapped up across my chest. It was fun. It was awesome. Yeah, I mean, it evolved me to the next level. I needed to go. I don't think Nigel expected that first match to be as popular as it was. and I beat him, I believe. I did win the first one, and everyone waited to see the second one after that, and that's how it started, I think. And yeah, I'm honoured that Nigel. You know, I mean, again, I wasn't really anyone at that point. You know, I wasn't really known on the circuit. Wasn't really known up here, really, I guess. And you know, I'm in the ring with Nigel, and I'm going over him clean. The second one, 2 out of 3 falls match. If you look at, here's a little Easter egg tip for you. If you look at the look back at that match, I'm always showing out at the start of the matches. I'm always in the crowd having fun. I'm always doing this, whatever. Look at my face, shit in my pants. This is one of those moments where if I could go back and actually think, why didn't you enjoy that moment? If you look at me, I walk around the ring and I get straight in the ring. I'm trying to just take in the moment. This 3 out of falls match. Yeah, I lost that one. I remember getting clotheslined silly. I don't think I could chew for a week after that. If you've ever got clotheslined by Nigel, you know that shit fucking hurts. Yeah, you can't eat. Like, I couldn't eat and I couldn't swallow. If you want to diet, it's fucking awesome. But like, yeah, it's the real thing when you're fighting Nigel, and he gives it 190% and he expects you to give 190 back. The third one, that was the one that really stood out. That was the one that was the shit, as they say, as the cool kids say. I remember going to Thailand to train. Any excuse to go to Thailand, basically. We went to Thailand to train, and I wanted to get my cardio up for this in a humid environment, because I knew it was going to be hard doing a 45-minute Ironman match. I'd never done one before. I don't remember the last time I'd seen a 45-minute Ironman match, and there was 7 pins in the last 2 minutes, and the last pin coming within 0.1 of the bell ringing. And I remember me getting the pin. I was up by 1 and just looking at the crowd seeing my position, and then looking at Nigel and going, oh fuck. And I felt like a cat being chased by a mouse. I get out the ring, I run around the ring to escape him. I slid in the ring. He's coming behind me, and as I come back, he's just fucking larruped me. And he got the 3 just as the referee counted to the time limit. And I remember Adam on the microphone saying it's quite possibly the greatest 45 minutes of pure wrestling he's ever seen. And yeah, I was so honoured to get that reviewed by him and a lot of people in wrestling. And I remember being the open weight champion at the time. And I remember when I became the open weight champion, I really wanted to make that belt the open weight champion, meaning let's do some crazy shit with this belt. Let's make this the extreme title. Let me go fight Muay Thai guys in Thailand and put it up against the line. Let me fight, a bear, because that was allowed in 2007. Let's do these things. And I remember holding the belt with Nigel, and I put the belt down, and he was the Ring of Honor Pure champion at the time, and then he put the belt down, and it was like, and it was in the works for us to have a match in Ring of Honor, I believe. The open weight title was going to be on the line, and then that's when I tore my ACL, and that was the end of my wrestling for a while. But yeah, amazing matches. And then I wrestled him once when he went in his Desmond Wolfe skin, again with 1PW. Always an honour to fight Nigel, and became good mate, so wicked. Thanks, Nigel. Yeah, I mean, once I left, once 1PW went down, and wrestling became shit everywhere. Till now. Yeah, I just kind of started concentrating on more London-based wrestling where I'm from. And with Gary Vanderhorn, we kind of set up Lucha Britannia. With Gary Vanderhorn, he made me kind of creative director of Lucha Britannia, which was already a cabaret-based show, but mainly aiming towards the adult audience in nightclubs and fetish clubs and stuff like this, you know. So I took over, and we made it much more wrestling based, lucha libre based, British wrestling strong style. Basically everything I'd learnt the previous years coming up with 1PW and wrestling these guys, I then took into Lucha Britannia, teaching this cabaret Monty Python style Mighty Bushi wrestling vibes with strong style wrestling, strong style Japanese wrestling, lucha libre high flying, all mixed together in this hybrid version we call Lucha Britannia. And we were very successful. We did Download Festival, Reading Festival, Leeds Festival. And then the Mexicans started getting involved with us. Cassandra is a very good friend of ours, and Juventud Guerrera. And it's from working with these guys, teaching me and teaching us how to do the Mexican way professionally, traditionally, and teaching us stuff that no other wrestling school in the UK has ever had the opportunity to have. Juventud Guerrera, Blue Demon, El Santo, Cassandra, all these people coming down and basically being associated with us. That's when we kind of opened the doors to having a wrestling school and teaching people Mexican wrestling as well as British wrestling, Japanese, American, all the things that I've learned for the last 10 years at the time. So we opened up the London School of Lucha Libre right in the middle of Bethnal Green, one of the biggest central hubs of London. And it was a super success. I think the only thing that kind of held us back is people thought they was only learning Lucha Libre at the school, but it wasn't. You're learning every single thing you need to be a pro wrestler, as well as this new hybrid form of wrestling that we took, which is British World of Sport Wrestling mixed with the Mexican Lucha Libre, to make a very British version of Lucha Libre, which if you watch people like Will Ospreay, you can see it in that. He's mixed his style with Mexican British wrestling, Mexican World of Sport style, with a little bit of Lucha Libre in there, and a little bit of strong style all mixed into one. So we had the school going since 2010, and then the dreaded COVID virus killed that, and then we're just kind of hoping to get something going soon. Whilst I was in wrestling, to be honest, I kind of wanted to get into acting and stunt work and this kind of thing, and it was kind of like a natural gateway into it, basically for me to get into this industry. My biggest idol was Pat Roach, who was a big actor that you may remember, your mums will remember him from Arvidas and Pet, but I mostly remember him from the dude who got his head cut off in Indiana Jones by the propeller. You know, he was a stuntman wrestler, and I remember when I heard that, I was like, wow, you could wrestle and be a stuntman and be larger than life and be an actor. And that was it. He was my idol. And I I knew the minute I started training, I went, I want to be the new Pat Roach. And I had the bug for doing stunts and acting because of that, to be honest. Also, people like The Rock, one of my idols. But I don't understand, personally, people who are in the wrestling industry and the wrestlers, why they wouldn't want to do this as well as wrestling. Because this is only going to help your career. It's a tool that helps the other tool. Every single wrestler should be learning to be an actor or a stunt performer or both. The three biggest paid actors in Hollywood are who? John Cena, Batista, and The Rock. I'm pretty sure taking bumps helped them get there, you know. It's not because they're the most amazing actors, because they're action heroes. As wrestlers, we are action heroes. That's what you got to learn when you're wrestling. You're not learning to be a wrestler. Take that out of your head for a minute, put that there, put on the cap of I'm an action hero. You know? So I think all trainee wrestlers should be learning to do this kind of stuff. And this has always been my belief since day one. But I managed to get into this world around 2007, doing stunts on films like I was a stunt Death Eater on Harry Potter, and I was getting all these jobs because basically wrestlers can do all of these actions. We are trained stuntmen, you know. We learn to wrestle within confined spaces and to meet certain directions for cameras. We know where to react. We are trained stuntmen. The sooner wrestlers can understand that, the bigger career you're going to have, and it's only going to help your wrestling, you know. And wrestling's only going to help your acting. So yeah, I mean, I developed a fight system that involves pro wrestling with stunts and screen fighting. I make my own movies and we showcase them. My second movie is just about to be released, with my students, and I like to kind of, without being big-headed, be like a kind of the Jackie Chan of Britain, having my own stunt team with me. But yeah, I haven't looked back. I just did Expendables 4 with Sylvester Stallone and Jason Statham, and again, it was wrestling that helped me get there, you know.
I just wish that you could like knock a million Brit Rest heads together and get that in their head that the wrestling isn't necessarily the most important thing, and it's the, like you said, an action hero. You got to sell the character thing. I see too many shows where people are just doing something because they know it looks cool, and that's it. That's all they've got. And then the rest of the stuff just falls apart if you haven't got the base.
I just don't understand why everyone does want to be The Rock. You know, it's like, look at The Rock. He's wearing Versace shirts with no buttons. Where was Versace with no bowl down the street? But yeah, I don't know. I just think you need to, wrestling is larger than life. You need to be larger than life. I know I don't look larger than life now, but it's when you're in the public eye, you need to be larger than life, because there's people that work very hard, and this is their escape, and you encapsulate all of their dreams or ambitions or things they want to be. You are a fucking influencer, not these twats who go on their phone and fucking do these posy shit. They're wankers, yeah? We are the influencers. So I don't understand why wrestlers don't go with that energy, you know? Be larger than life. Don't come out and just wear black pants and know nothing about you. People want to see superstars, you know? They want to be you, or they want to be in the ring with you. They want to aspire to get to that level. But if you look like their next door neighbour, I don't know. We're role models, so we have to perform on that kind of charismatic level. I personally believe. I may be wrong, and I know not a lot of people would agree with me, but that's just what I think. I come back to 1PW because it's 1PW, you know. I'd happily stay retired, but it's my home. I got a train here today, and I just got out of the station. I just felt like I came home. You know, I don't need to wrestle. I don't need to get in there and smash my body up anymore. But I can't explain exactly why, but I need to come back, and I'll only come back for 1PW. So here we are. The Pucker one is back.